Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. The key is mindfulness and practice. Are you practicing mindfulness? I want you to take a deep breath in and just get focused on how life is always moving. It's always going in one direction or another. Energy is always flowing. And where you place your attention directs that energy. Last night, I attended an event where the speaker was talking about being encouraged to write down 5 goals, 5 impossible, crazy goals, something that you would really, really love, and then tell everybody. Because when these are big, crazy goals, people are going to try and talk you out of them. Well, most people write down a goal or they're afraid to think about something big and crazy and wild because they've already been programmed to think small. Well, this guy wrote down 5 big goals and then read it out to his classmates. And now he's standing in front of a room full of people saying, "These are the crazy things that happened." He worked all over the world. He lived in his dream home. He lived in 4 different countries. He made things happen because people said, "Oh, you're crazy. That's never going to happen." And he was challenged to go after it, to make it happen. It was the fuel he needed, the fire beneath him, that "I'll show you," and did what everyone else said was crazy. So when someone said, "That's crazy," he knew he had to do it. Are you playing small? Are you doing the same things over and over and over and then getting stuck in a rut? And maybe you're tired and miserable and wishing and hoping that something different would happen, but you're stuck and you've talked yourself out of any kind of crazy goals because you learned that you have to fit in with society. It's crazy to think outside the box. It's crazy to do something that you really want. Or you have to work hard and don't worry about those imaginary fantasies. Well, it's the fantasies that have changed the world. It is the people that actually stepped out and did what everybody else said was crazy that changed the world. Walt Disney had a fantasy. Colonel Sanders had a fantasy. You might have had a fantasy to move to another country and stopped yourself because it's crazy. Somebody told you you can't do it and you believed them instead of taking that as a challenge and saying, "This I will do." Well, it it just makes me so happy and excited when people actually go for things that others say are crazy, that it's impossible. And I'm putting on a 3-day lunch and learn next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at noon. I would love if you have a crazy dream, if you know that there's something that you're meant to do, but you talked yourself out of it, or your family told you that you're not worthy, or somebody told you you can't and you believe them. If you're ready to go after that dream and make it happen, It's never too late. Colonel Sanders was in his 80s. There are people who didn't start their businesses until they were in their 60s. I spent 39 years in a job that at first was a good paying job with pay and benefits until I felt stuck, chained to a desk. And now I love helping people go after dream goals. You're only stuck because you believed things that people told you were crazy, and you didn't want to be crazy. You didn't want to get put away. You didn't want to be ridiculed or laughed at or criticized. Do you know that's one of the biggest fears that people have is being criticized? People are more afraid of speaking in public than they are of death. Now that's crazy. If you're really ready to live a life that you love, sign up for my Stuck to Unstoppable webinar. It'll just be on your lunch break. If you're in Central Standard Time, it's at noon. If you're living somewhere else, just check the time zone and join me. Susan at transformationalchange.ca. You'll have to register so you can get the Zoom link, but this would be a great place to start to learn how to become unstoppable and go after a dream goal. What do you really want? That's what Bob Proctor asked over and over and over and over. What do you really want? Not what you are settling for, not what you've been trained to do, not what you think you can have, but what do you want? Imagine that it's not crazy, it's not impossible, that you actually believe in the beautiful picture that you have in your mind that it's coming true. It's like a movie. You've already been through the hard stuff. You've already climbed the mountain, and the reward is standing there right in front of you. You're being supported by people who said you were crazy, and now they're saying, I knew you could do it all along. If you climbed your mountain and received your reward, what would that look like? You've believed in yourself and you had others supporting you. Now you have the money flowing in because your invention worked. The money flowing in because you're providing a service, a heartfelt service. You're providing a product or a service that people love, and your reward is time and money freedom. What are you doing with that time and money freedom? How are you treating your family? How are you treating yourself? They're really important questions to think about and to get quiet and reflect on them, and then take action on those goals that you've put away for some day. They're never going to happen unless and until you start to move in that direction. When you start to take action, the universe sees that you're serious. Oh, okay, this person really wants this. Let's make it happen. And crazy, magical things, synchronicities happen to put you in those places, in those opportunities. But you have to make the first move, not sitting back and hoping and wishing. It takes imagining that you're already there, getting into that feeling, getting into the spirit of what's that like, going after it once and for all. And not just once and then giving up, but over and over and over until you're living your dream. You know, the way that we've been programmed that you can't have what you really want, that you have to fit into society and work hard, get a good job so you can pay the bills, that existing model is obsolete. Buckminster Fuller said, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. Get a fantasy goal, something that you truly desire. It has to be so big that when things seem like they're not working out, you still have the faith, the trust, the belief that it's on its way. It's just not here yet. It's just not the right time. You have to reprogram your mind. Bob Proctor was asked challenging questions because people have said, well, there's post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic growth. How am I going to get past that stress, that trauma, that tragedy that happened to me? How do you get involved with post-traumatic growth? Well, Michael Beckwith gave the answer to that. He said there's a 3-step approach. In fact, he even made a movie and wrote a book about it. There's a 3-step approach to let go of the past and to expect good in the future. Number 1, it is what it is. Accept it. It doesn't matter what has happened in your life. Many of you have had really bad things happen in your past, really disturbing. They really messed up your life. It is what it is. Accept it. Either you're going to control it or it's going to control you. You don't want that to control you for the rest of your life. Just say, enough is enough. I'm done with that. It is what it is. Accept it. You don't want to take the chemical residue of that bad thing that happened to you into your future. Don't let it define you. It's done. It's over. Let it go. It is what it is. Accept that it happened to you. It doesn't make you a bad person. Things happen. It just is. Do you know, Bob Proctor learned that from Michael Beckwith on a Saturday, and the following week, he was in Cedars-Sinai Medical Center having his chest cut open, taking his heart cut out, having his heart cut out, collapsing his lung, and the medical team was replacing the aortic valve. And you want to know something? Bob Proctor says, I got better. Just like that. And I was back out on the road in 90 days, going like a rocket, because Michael Beckwith had explained that to me on Saturday. He spoke on Saturday, I spoke on Sunday. I wrote down what he said, and I thought, this is brilliant. Number 2 is harvest the good. I love the word harvest. You can just see them bringing in the crops, can't you? Harvest the good. There's good in everything. The more you look for it, the more you'll find it. Instead of saying, This is the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm hanging on to this pain, this resentment, this guilt. You have to forgive. And that's number three, forgive the rest. Forgive means to let go of it completely. Abandon it. Just let it go. Quit dwelling on what's wrong. Forgive all the rest. That's post-traumatic growth. There's the bad and the good. Maybe thinking, well, there's got to be more to it than that. I mean, I need to see a few behavioral scientists and psychiatrists and psychologists. I mean, we got to go into a lot of therapy. No, you don't. You don't have to complicate it. And Bob Proctor said, if this were complicated, I would never have gotten it. I'm a simple guy. Just keep it simple. That's what you want to do. Reduce it to the ridiculous. It is what it is. Accept it. It's either going to control you or you're going to control it. Number two, harvest the good. And number three, forgive all the rest. I learned a really good exercise, and that is if you're deeply ingrained in, stuck in this sucks, I don't want to be here anymore, my life is bad, write down, who do you have to forgive? What do you have to forgive them for, and why? I did that exercise, and the longer I wrote, the more things came up. And I was like, holy smokes. I didn't even realize that I was holding a grudge against this person. Why did I feel awkward in their presence? Why did I not want to be in this person's space? Well, you could write pages and pages and pages. I know I did. What's bugging me? I have to forgive this person because I thought this. I have to forgive this action that they took against me. I have to forgive them, and I have to forgive myself for holding on to that. I have a friend who said it's like taking a hot poker stick out of the fireplace, where you have a log on the fire and it's burning, and you hold on to the handle and you poke the fire, you move the logs around, and then you grab the hot end of it and you shake it at another person, and you're hoping to harm them. The only person you're hurting is yourself by holding on to that negative energy. Bob Proctor met Cynthia Kersey at an airport, at a hotel, and she has the Unstoppable Foundation. She's raised millions of dollars to build schools all over the world, but at the time that Bob Proctor met her, her husband had left her, and she was pretty shaken up. She had just come back from her therapist to the hotel, and Bob Proctor was meeting her for the first time. He said, "So, what did your therapist have to say?" Cynthia said, "Well, she said I was going to be really angry for 9 months to a year." Bob said, "Well, what would you want to do that for? Fire the therapist. Why would you want to be angry? Send him love." Cynthia looked at Bob like he had fallen out of a tree. She said, "Send him love?" Bob said, "Send him love. It's got nothing to do with him. While you're holding bad thoughts about him, he's probably out having a good time, and you're the one in the bad vibration." Start to understand how your mind functions. When you send love, it's love that's going to pass through you. You take an energy that flows into your mind that has no form, and you're giving it form. You turn it into something beautiful, and then you send it off to your ex, to somebody that hurt you, to whoever you need to forgive. You take an energy, this beautiful universal energy that is always flowing into form. You turn it into something beautiful and you send it out into the universe. You send it off to the person that's bothering you. Whatever that person does is up to them, but it's you you're benefiting. Do you know what forgiveness is? Forgiveness is for your benefit. You do something and I forgive you, that's for my benefit. I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for me. Forgive means to let go of completely. People keep repeating their sad stories over and over and over. They keep living with the same sad stories. They keep repeating them. And you know what happens? If you keep repeating them, it's going to keep reoccurring, at least in your mind, if not in your physical world. Why do you want to live there? Did you like that? No? Well, why do you go there? Why do you keep going where you don't want to go? You have the ability to go wherever you want. You have the ability to choose. You are a spiritual being. The way you use your intellect dictates your emotional state. Whatever we get emotionally involved with determines the vibrational energy that we're in. Your body is a mass of molecules in a high speed of vibration. Forgiveness is a phenomenal concept. It means to let go of completely. Forgive yourself. You can't change what you did. You know, there are many people who wander around with tremendous feelings of guilt. Guilt and resentment are the most destructive emotions that anyone can experience. I was raised with a lot of guilt. So as I got older, I experienced a lot of guilt. I was having difficulty getting rid of it. Every little thing I thought that just wasn't quite right, I felt guilty about it. Forgiveness is a healthy concept. It's so much better than years of therapy. We've got to learn to forgive ourselves. We've got to forgive others. And we have to realize that we can't change what happened yesterday. You can't change what you did yesterday. Even if you did something deliberately wrong, let it go. When it comes back to your mind, let it go again. If someone has done something to you, don't have any resentment. Let it go. That doesn't mean you want to give them the opportunity to do it again. It's just that you simply can't hold bad thoughts in your mind and move into a good direction. You can't go after what you really, really want by holding on to resentment. And bad energy is just going to bring you bad energy. Forgiveness is one of the most liberating things you can ever do. Form the habit of not holding on to anything that is causing you to feel bad. Start loving yourself. Start respecting yourself. And have a healthy respect for what you are capable of doing. Bob Proctor says, understand this. Carrying bad thoughts about anyone or anything is not doing anyone any good. It's sinful. It's destructive. And the price of sin is death. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to bury you, but your bad thoughts may be burying your company. They might be burying your income. They might be burying your relationship or your friends. Forgiveness will cause everything to grow. It will cause you to be healthier. It will cause your income to grow, your friends to grow, your business to grow. Just replace any thought of guilt or resentment with one of beauty, with a thought of plenty, with a thought of abundance. Buckminster Fuller said, "You can never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." See yourself where you want to be and then be there. Don't be in the past. Be there. Act like the person you want to become. What is it that you really want? Get into that state of being there. That takes practice, that takes mindfulness, that takes visualizing, that takes quieting your body and spending the time visualizing what your life is like. You could build a vision board, you could write a movie script, you could write a play, you could write down on a goal card, what do I really want? And write it as if it's already done. Write it as if you believe it's yours. Write it down boldly. I am so happy. This is my life. When you add gratitude, when you get into that vibrational energy of, I am so happy and grateful for my life, for everything that I've done, everything I've accomplished, and everything that's yet to come, including this big, beautiful goal that people say is crazy, that it's done. It's here. It's now. I can feel it. Start acting like you're already there. There is a place. Go there in your mind. Feel it in every cell of your being. And do something crazy today that is going to make your dream a reality. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. And if you want some more tips and tricks, strategies and tools, join me Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to get from stuck to unstoppable. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Create a wonderful day.